Some Like It Hot 1959 is a classic American comedy film directed by Billy Wilder. It's one of the most famous screwball comedies of all time and is known for its slapstick humor, witty dialogue, and iconic performances. Plot summary. The story is set in the Prohibition era of the 1920s and follows two down-on-their-luck musicians, Joe and Jerry, who witness the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. In order to escape from the mobsters, they disguise themselves as women and join an all-female jazz band, where they both fall for the band's lead singer, Sugar Kane. The plot takes a series of comedic turns as Joe and Jerry try to maintain their disguises while contending with the romantic advances of Sugar, the mobsters chasing them, and their increasingly complicated situation. Cast: Marilyn Monroe as Sugar Kane Kowalczyk, Tony Curtis as Joe, Jack Lemmon as Jerry, Joe E. Brown as Osgood Fielding III, George Raft as Spats Colombo, Pat O'Brien as Detective Mulligan. Marilyn Monroe had difficulty remembering her lines during filming. Director Billy Wilder had to do multiple takes for simple phrases, like "Where's the bourbon?", which reportedly took over 40 tries. To help her, some of her lines were written on cue cards hidden around the set. When Tony Curtis disguises himself as a millionaire to woo Sugar, he puts on an exaggerated posh accent. He later admitted that he was imitating Hollywood legend Cary Grant. Grant himself saw the film and jokingly said, "I don't talk like that." In the scene where Jerry, as Daphne excitedly tells Joe that Osgood has proposed, Lemmon shakes a pair of maracas in between lines. This wasn't in the script. Lemmon added it on the spot to give the scene more rhythm and comedy, and Wilder loved it so much he kept it in. Originally, Some Like It Hot was planned to be shot in color. However, the makeup on Curtis and Lemmon in their female disguises looked too unnatural, so Billy Wilder decided to shoot in black and white instead. This gave the film its classic look and also helped disguise the men's heavy makeup. Due to its themes of cross-dressing and gender identity, the film was banned in Kansas and some other U.S. cities at the time for being immoral. Despite this, it became a major hit and is now widely celebrated. Jack Lemmon had such a great time playing his female alter ego that he stayed in character even between takes, talking and behaving like Daphne on set. His performance was so convincing that he received an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. George Raft, who played the gangster Spats Colombo, was known for his roles in classic gangster films. In one scene, he flips a coin exactly like he did in the 1932 movie Scarface, a subtle nod to his past roles. Many critics and filmmakers regard Some Like It Hot as the greatest comedy of all time. In 2000, the American Film Institute ranked it #1 on its list of 100 funniest movies. It continues to be celebrated for its humor, performances, and timeless charm. Budget: approximately $2.9 million. Box office gross: around $49 million worldwide. The film was a huge commercial success, especially for its time. It was one of the highest-grossing movies of 1959 and continued to generate revenue through re-releases and home video sales. Given its relatively modest budget, its earnings made it one of Billy Wilder's most profitable films. Positive reviews: Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon received widespread praise for their comedic timing. Jack Lemmon's portrayal of Daphne was especially celebrated, earning him an Oscar nomination. Tony Curtis's Cary Grant impersonation was considered a hilarious touch. The film was ahead of its time with its humor, gender-bending themes, and clever script. Many directors, including Woody Allen and Quentin Tarantino, have cited it as a major influence. The famous last words, "Nobody's perfect," became one of the most beloved punchlines in movie history. Even today, the film holds up due to its witty dialogue, fast-paced plot, and entertaining performances. It remains one of the greatest comedies of all time and is still widely studied and admired. Negative reviews: while Monroe gave a charming performance, she was difficult to work with, often arriving late and forgetting lines. Director Billy Wilder later admitted that working with her was frustrating, though he also acknowledged her star power. Some critics and audiences in 1959 found the cross-dressing humor too risque. The film was even banned in Kansas for being immoral. A few modern critics believe some performances were too exaggerated or hammy. While the slapstick comedy worked for most, some found it a bit much. Some viewers felt that the romance between Sugar and Joe was underdeveloped and that Sugar was too quick to forgive Joe's lies. Critics have noted that Sugar's character, while charming, was largely a male fantasy rather than a fully developed character. Though the film was progressive in some ways, some modern audiences find the gender portrayals a bit outdated. The idea of men dressing as women strictly for comedic effect is seen differently today than it was in 1959.